While Imagination Skyway focuses on evergreen content, you might not know that over at patreon.com/Imagination Skyway, I have a news podcast that I host that gives the latest updates to what's happening at the Disney parks and beyond. And I wanted to plug that for you today for free here on the main podcast feed, just as an example of what you can experience over there. And I'll say that if you do jump to patreon.com/Imagination Skyway, it is free to enjoy Imagination Skyway news. You just have to create a free account. Of course, if you do upgrade to a subscription, you get a lot more bonus content that comes along with that. But signing up for free gives you access to Imagination Skyway news. You get to listen to all the other Imagination Skyway podcast episodes ad-free, and you get some other surprises in there too. So learn more over at patreon.com/Imagination Skyway, and let's jump into this particular Imagination Skyway news episode. 3 attractions at Walt Disney World have animatronic updates, and I think at least a couple will excite you. Let's dive into the details. It's Wednesday, October 8th, and today Walt Disney World dropped some news about 3 attractions, all having to do with audio-animatronics figures. One is a current attraction seeing an update to animatronics figures, and the other 2 are new attractions, and I think that all 3 will excite most of you listening. Let's start with the current attraction, Frozen Ever After at EPCOT. It debuted in 2016, and since then, you have animatronics figures of Anna, Elsa, Kristoff, Sven, Olaf, the Snow Geese, Marshmallow, lots of animatronics figures in there, the Trolls. Now, you might know, if you've been on the attraction, that Princess Anna, Queen Elsa, and Kristoff all use projection mapping on their faces, which, as time has gone on, the technology has aged a bit, so unlike some of the more practical audio animatronics figures, you can tell that there is something that's older about these, and that's because of that projection mapping in their faces. Well, Disney Parks blog has an exciting update, and I am going to read it out to you. Quote, "In a full circle moment of innovation, the Anna, Elsa, and Kristoff audio animatronics figures will soon receive new updates after 10 years of delighting fans in Frozen Ever After, taking inspiration from the advancements seen in figures at World of Frozen in Hong Kong Disneyland. The Frozen Ever After figures will face the future of audio animatronics." See what I did there? Early next year, this investment will bring a more true-to-film look for these beloved characters. Just looking at the photos from Hong Kong Disneyland, I can tell we're in for a treat here at Walt Disney World. That's the end of that quote. And that, just to summarize here, if we're going to move from projection mapping to the Hong Kong Disneyland versions do feature the more traditional face molding that you would see with audio animatronics. So we are going to see that update, and it seems like it's something that we're going to get to see early next year. So I am very excited to return to Frozen Ever After with my daughters before this takes place, and looking to see how it changes when the attraction reopens with these, or opens with these new animatronics featured in the new year. All right, let's pivot over to Disney's Animal Kingdom. You know that Zootopia, Better Together, that show that's replacing It's Tough to Be a Bug over in the Tree of Life Theater, is opening on November 7th, which is coming up so quickly. It's a 4D show, just like It's Tough to Be a Bug. And they showed a photo of Clawhauser, which looks to be a really fun audio animatronic figure. I just picture with Maggie and Emily, especially Maggie, they're gonna love going to see this. I'm going to love to see this. We've always skipped It's Tough to Be a Bug because just knowing the attraction very well, I knew that Maggie in particular at her age would be terrified of the attraction. And now we have something that we can look forward to going to see together. I think it's a great fit for Disney's Animal Kingdom. Here's a quote from Disney Parks blog about the updates. Quote, "I hope you're ready to join in the fun because we're all invited to join the audience too. Thanks to the special Carrot Vision glasses we'll wear as part of the watch party experience, some of your favorite characters from Zootopia and Zootopia 2 will jump off the screen, except for Gazelle's #1 fan and off-duty ZPD officer. That's right, Benjamin Clawhauser himself will be in the theater with us in the form of an all-new audio animatronics figure. When we met Clawhauser in Zootopia, he was sporting his ZPD uniform and sometimes a tasty donut too. At the Zoogether Day watch party, he'll be decked out from head to tail with a brand new look, glow necklaces, bracelets, and his favorite glittery Gazelle t-shirt. This larger-than-life fan wants nothing more than to be picked as the VIZ, very important Zootopian, the lucky mammal who will get special access to the Zoogether Day performers. And when that doesn't work out, he has to take matters into his own paws. That's the end of that quote. Again, this is going to come to the park on November 7th. That's its debut. And if you're trying to picture where Clawhauser is going to be, it's going to be in the front right of the theater if you're facing the screen, where Hopper used to be, and it's tough to be a bug. Last update has to do with Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. We know that Rock and Roller Coaster is going to be, or starring Aerosmith, that version of it is going to be closing at the end of 2025. Well, Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets is going to be opening in summer of 2026. That is a very quick turnaround for this attraction, and they did have updates about the animatronics that are going to be in here. And I just want to read for you what Disney Parks blog has to say. At Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets, you bet we'll have rock as we roll across Hollywood on a wild ride with the electric mayhem, complete with backstage chaos, high-speed thrills, that signature Muppet humor, and an all-new Muppet Audio-Animatronics figure. Side by side with a dedicated team of Penguin audio engineers, Scooter, in his capacity as band manager, will be trying hard to convince the Electric Mayhem to stop laying down tracks so they won't be late to their own concert. This will be the first time Scooter has ever been imagined as an audio animatronics figure, and I hear he might not be the only Muppet audio animatronics figure joining the attraction, but we'll have to wait to learn more about that. And that's the end of that quote. Alongside this announcement, Disney Parks blog did showcase a new psychedelic, or as they say, psychedelically sweet poster. It is loaded with details. It seems like a concert poster you would see back in the 60s, and it says, "The Electric Mayhem with special guests Miss Piggy, Kermit the Frog, The Great Gonzo, and more, summer 2026, Disney's Hollywood Studios." All rockin', all rollin', all new Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. And it does say at the top, G-Force Records presents. So this to me means that we're going to see, first of all, a very similar storyline. They're late to their own concert. They're laying down tracks. Sounds very similar to the current Aerosmith version. That also is going to reduce the amount of time it takes to turn over this attraction. I imagine that we'll probably see the main show building where the roller coaster flies through. That's probably going to look very similar. They might update it. They haven't said anything about that interior space, but if the storyline is staying the same and they're driving through Hollywood in a super stretch limo, that'll probably stay the same. I do hope that they update the paint colors, give it a very psychedelically sweet look for the limo trains as they sort of cascade through the attraction. And we know that the pre-show is going to also look very similar and have a similar setup to the story. The difference here is that we have Scooter as the band manager, and that's such a perfect fit considering that at the Muppet Vision 3D attraction, he was the backstage director and working with the Penguins. And so it just means that they're taking a lot of those similar elements from Muppet Vision 3D and putting them here in Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. I think we can expect a lot of positive reactions to this, the way it seems to be playing out. The one thing that is still up in the air for me, and I want to hear your thoughts, let me know what you think, is what soundtracks do you think are going to be featured on Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets? Maybe Aerosmith, one Aerosmith song or two might make an appearance. Are they going to choose other rock bands from around the world? Are they going to focus more on pop music? Probably not, given the psychedelically sweet element that they are talking about here. So I think probably we're talking about the same era of rock and roll music. Are they going to just feature Muppet songs? Who knows? But I want to know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on all three of these updates, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. I'll try to react to as many as I can. In any case, I want to thank you so much for listening to Imagination Skyway News, and remember, as always, to keep moving forward.